Golden State Media Concepts presents the GSMC Classics series, with episodes of some of your favorites from a day gone by. A time gone by. Join us as we time travel to some of your classic favorites from yesteryear. The GSMC Podcast Network invites you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the GSMC Classics series on the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network.
I Love a Mystery. A Carlton E. Morse audio novel featuring Jack, Doc, and Reggie, specialists in crime and adventure. Now following the northwest trail of a missing millionaire, a killer cougar, and the Phantom Castle. This is Fred Foy introducing Jim Harmon's presentation of Les Tremaine and Tony Clay in an original Carlton Morse thriller, The Fear That Creeps Like a Cat. 7 o'clock in the evening in a wilderness cabin somewhere across the Canadian border in the Pacific Northwest. Here, the gang murdered the only man who could have given the trio a clue to Alexander Archer's whereabouts, and then, in a quick, daring move, took the three comrades prisoners. All day, the Cooper gang traveled by horse with their prisoners by rugged, dangerous trails, finally crossing into Canada through a gigantic natural tunnel. And now, at 7 o'clock in the evening, somewhat recovered from the trip, Jack, Doc, and Reggie sit before a great fire in a strange wilderness log cabin with their host and captor, Richard Cooper.
Gentlemen, the necessity for keeping you handcuffed to your chairs revolts me.
Well, it don't revolt you no more than it does us, Cooper.
Yes. As your host, I deplore the whole business. As your captor, however, it seems only logical.
Oh, there's logic in keeping us handcuffed to our chairs, all right?
Oh, you see my point.
You bet. Because if we wasn't chained down here, we'd bust you wide open and get out of here.
Apparently you haven't yet learned your lesson, Mr. Long.
What lesson?
I kept you gagged all day because you talked too much.
Now, looky here, Cooper. Every man's got a right to say his piece.
Not unless he has something intelligent to say.
All right, I can take a hint.
I hope sincerely you can, for your sake.
Darn polecat.
Mr. Packard, you seem disinclined to talk.
Nothing to say.
I realize you all must be deadly tired. It was a pretty strenuous trip through the mountains for anyone not used to horses.
Yes, especially with our hands tied behind us.
And yet you all came through it much better than some of our other guests.
I say, you make a regular habit of kidnapping people and bringing them up here?
Oh, nothing regular about it, but there are occasions...
Other investigators before us who have tried to find Alexander Archer, I take it.
Some of them, yes, some of them.
Bit of an organization you have. I've counted 5 men about this cabin, not including myself and Linda Joyce.
Oh, yes. 5 men on duty at this station.
Station?
Oh, yes. This is the Midway station on the underground passage.
You know, I've been giving this some thought, Cooper.
I'm not surprised.
This thing's too well organized simply to be a means of disposing of people who get too nosy about Alexander Archer.
That's logical.
I mean, Archer's only been missing a year. Everything indicates this setup has been established for a much longer time.
Oh, it has, I assure you.
Am I right in assuming it's an underground railroad for smuggling goods between the United States and Canada?
Oh, no. Dear me, no.
That's a logical assumption.
Yes, it could be used for that very well, but never has been.
I see.
There's one thing that puzzles me a bit. I mean to say, aren't you running a considerable risk in bringing us over the trail in the daylight and allowing us to see where you're taking us and how we get there?
Young man, that question shows a pitiful amount of simple faith and youthful optimism.
But look here. If we ever get out of this mess, you know bally well we'll turn in the whole business.
You're darn tootin' we will.
Mr. Packard, don't you think it's time you explained to your two comrades the true state of affairs?
What the heck you talking about?
What Cooper's saying is none of us is ever going to be in a position to give him away.
Well, ain't that a beautiful thought for the day?
Quite. Furthermore, I'd say Mr. Cooper's inclined to be a bit on the optimistic side myself.
Well, that's the human mind. Hope rising eternally, each of us living with his own personal convictions.
Good of you to allow us our own personal convictions, Cooper.
Oh, please don't misunderstand me. I have no desire to threaten you, to make you more uncomfortable than necessary. Personally, I would never have brought up the subject of your future. That was done by Mr. York. Mr. Packard here is the only possible one of you who might have some small insight into the things which go on in my mind.
Not much. Beyond the fact that you're a very dangerous man.
Only dangerous because I'm intellectually your superior.
Perhaps that's true. All I know is that I sense something that warns me to watch out.
Speaking of sensing something, what's that raw, wild smell I keep a-smelling?
Quite. I get it, too. A bit like spoiled meat.
Oh, yes. That's my pen of mountain lions.
Yeah? I was going to ask you about that. We saw 'em when we first come. What the heck did Linda Joyce mean when we asked her what you kept mountain lions for?
What did she say?
That we'd probably find out for ourselves one of these days.
That girl is taking a great deal on herself. Linda! Linda!
Hello?
Linda, come up here.
There's that darn wolf dog again.
A fine animal. You haven't made his acquaintance yet.
Well, I made all the acquaintance I want to of him. When I see him from my window a-galloping around the house.
Quite. Big, ugly-looking brute. Biggest fangs I ever saw in a dog.
He's half wolf. There you are, Linda.
Yes?
Open the door and let Prometheus in.
Mr. Cooper.
Linda, open the door and let Prometheus in.
All right.
Prometheus.
He's coming.
Prometheus, there you are. That's York. Go over and say hello.
I say.
Prometheus, over there's Long. Go say hello.
You black devil, get out of here.
Prometheus, this is Packard. Say hello.
Hello, Prometheus.
Here. No, come and lie down.
You had a reason for having him make the rounds and smell each one of us, I suppose.
Oh, yes, indeed. He's intelligent. He'll never forget any of you. Watch this. Prometheus, go to Packard. You see, I just mentioned your name to him once. Come back in, lie down now.
So what?
Why, if it should ever be necessary to find one of you in a hurry, that's all.
I say, those fangs, they're positively beastly.
I've seen him tear the throat out of a full-grown bear with one slash of those fangs.
Oh, the throat of a bear?
Linda, you talked with these men about my pen of mountain lions?
Only that they were a hobby of yours.
Any mention of those animals is forbidden, as you have reason to know.
I spoke before I thought.
I'm afraid, my dear, that any more thoughtlessness on your part will have most unhappy results.
You're threatening me?
Nonsense, child. What a thought.
Yes, what a thought.
It's only natural for the human mind to relax. We all need to have our sense whipped into line now and again.
Yes, naturally. I'll be more careful in the future.
Good. Oh, then we can forget about it for something more pleasant. Oh, do you gentlemen play bridge?
Nope. Poker's my game.
Poker? Oh, splendid. I haven't had a good game of poker in a long while.
Yeah, just a minute, Cooper. Haven't we been given to understand that we begin another long trek on horseback early tomorrow morning?
Yes, I'm afraid that's right.
Well, I don't mind telling you, I'm dog-tired. Personally, I'd like to be taken to my room.
Oh, I'm sincerely sorry. What a bad host I've been. Shall we all retire then?
Well, very shortly. But I couldn't face cards tonight. If Doc here wants to play...
All according to what the stakes are.
Oh, I see. What stakes did you have in mind?
Well, now, just for instance,
Yes?
how about us playing for the limit?
I don't think I follow you.
You and me sit down and play a hand of draw poker.
Oh?
If I win, you turn us loose and give us half an hour head start before you try to catch us again.
And if you lose?
Well, if it's all right with Jack and Reggie, we'll guarantee to go along with you tomorrow without trying to get away.
A half hour of freedom tonight in return for good conduct tomorrow.
Well, are you a gambler, ain't you?
Oh, yes. That's no gamble. I've got everything to lose and nothing to gain.
Sure you have.
No, because you haven't the faintest possibility of getting away from me tomorrow. No, my friend. That's no proposition.
Well, what you got to offer?
Let's see. How about this? If you win, you get your half-hour freedom. And if you lose, you lend yourself to a little experiment of mine.
Oh, no.
Linda,
What you mean, a little experiment?
it really is a marvelous opportunity for you. Lend yourself to the advancement of scientific knowledge.
Doc, I think you're getting in over your head.
You mean let myself get bit by malaria mosquitoes, something like that?
Something, but not quite. Linda, I think you'd better leave the room.
Yes, I think I'm going to be sick.
Well, Long, what about it?
Yeah, well, that ain't exactly what I had in mind. But on the other hand, I'm a pretty doggone good poker player.
I won't consider it, Cooper.
The consideration is out of your hands.
I absolutely forbid it, Doc.
But if Cooper here was to give us half an hour head start, Jack, he'd never catch us.
Where's your good sense? If Cooper's taken all this trouble to bring us this far, you think he's going to take a chance of losing us for the fun of playing some one hand of poker?
Oh, I'll release you and give you a full half-hour head start.
You think he will, Jack?
Probably. But there's a catch in it.
Well, all I want to do is get free. I'll take my chances on the rest.
You seem very certain of winning the poker hand.
Of course I'll win. Ain't I told you I'm good at poker? What you say, Jack?
No. Positively.
Reggie?
Absolutely not.
Well, there you are, Cooper.
You mean you've decided not to play?
2 against 3. Majority rules in this outfit.
Oh, too bad. Apparently your two companions haven't the faith in your ability as a poker player that you have. Huh?
Hey, is that what you folks mean? You don't think I can beat this tin horn?
No. We don't mean you couldn't beat him. We're saying it's a trick. And you've got everything to lose and nothing to gain.
You're saying my good faith?
I'm saying your good faith is only good as far as it meets your convenience. Now then, if you'll release us from these chairs and take us to our room, I'd like to get some rest.
Jack, I still think
You never had a thought in your life. You want to play that hand of poker just to show off? Now shut up about it.
Hey, fella, you can't talk to me like that.
Jove, I say, Doc, we're all a bit on the nervy side tonight. Let's just drop the whole business.
Well, Dad, blame it anyway.
Cooper, will you stop fumbling with these cards and take us into our bedroom?
Oh, certainly, certainly. I'm sorry for all this unpleasantness.
Let it go.
I'll have to go call the men.
Well, go call them.
Too bad, yes. I'm afraid I've tried your patience too far.
Doc.
Yeah?
I'm sorry, but you didn't get the full significance of what he was saying. There was murder mixed up in that conversation.
Hey, what you talking about?
I know it. I saw it in his face.
I say, watch out. Somebody's outside the door.
Hey, it's Linda.
He mustn't catch me here. But don't ever do that again. Don't ever, ever do that again.
What do you mean, Linda?
It's just the chance he was looking for. Watch out for him.
The adventures of Jack, Doc, and Reggie have come to you in I Love a Mystery. Created and written by Carlton E. Morse. Scripts copyrighted by Morse Co. Incorporated. Produced and directed by story editor Jim Harmon. featuring Les Tremaine as Jack Packard and Tony Clay as Doc Long. Consultants, Frank Brzee and David Lloyd. Your announcer, Fred Foy. This presentation has come from Hollywood. I Love a Mystery. A Carlton E. Morse audio novel featuring Jack, Doc, and Reggie, specialists in crime and adventure. Now following the northwest trail of a missing millionaire, a killer cougar, and the Phantom Castle. This is Fred Foy introducing Jim Harmon's presentation of Les Tremaine and Tony Clay in an original Carlton Morse thriller, The Fear That Creeps Like a Cat. Five o'clock in the evening in a motor launch among the Pacific Northwest Islands, somewhere off the coast of Canada, Jack, Doc, and Reggie began this million-dollar manhunt in an attempt to find Alexander Archer. Yesterday morning, they were taken prisoners by the Cooper gang and transported across the border into Canada by horses. Last night, they rested at an isolated cabin with Richard Cooper, Linda Joyce, and 5 other members of the gang. All day today, their horseback trip continued until an hour ago, when they came down to the edge of the Pacific. Here, they were loaded into a launch, and for the last hour, they have been cruising through the innumerable uninhabited islands which mark this portion of the coastline.
Oh, there, Mr. Cooper. Linda, go up forward and see what Frankie wants.
Sure, why not?
We're getting close to our destination. Shortly now, and you'll be rid of these handcuffs.
Yeah, but what's worrying me now is, if this here launch should get wrecked or something with us handcuffed to the rail...
Oh, no danger of that, I assure you.
Just the same, if it should happen, we're gone goslings and no two ways about it.
I say, the thing that interests me, I've never realized before how many islands there were off this part of the coast. We've passed so many I've lost count.
Oh, yes, hundreds of them.
They got white folks on them?
Oh, dear me, no. Most of them uninhabited. Some have never known the presence of white men.
Mr. Cooper.
Well, Linda?
Frankie says we're at extreme high tide. We can make it through the outer reef now if you're ready.
Oh, certainly. What's he waiting for?
For your orders.
Oh, yes, of course. Tell him to go ahead.
Hi, Frankie.
Yeah, what's he say?
Go ahead. Take us through as fast as possible.
All right. Hold on to your hats. Here we go.
What's he mean, here we go?
We're going to cross the reef. It's quite rough for a few minutes. Unfortunately, you gentlemen out here on deck are going to get wet.
What about you?
Linda and I will go down into the cabin.
And leave us 3 out here handcuffed to the rail?
I'm afraid it's necessary.
There's consideration for you. Great, huh, Jack?
If we're crossing a reef, then that must be the island we're heading for over there.
Oh, yes, that's right. Another 5 minutes, and we'll be in. Come, Linda. It's beginning to get sloppy.
See you boys after the flood.
Huh? How do you like them apples? We're going to get a ducking, and we just got to stand here handcuffed to the rail and take it.
Well, there's one thing.
Yeah? What?
We're apparently penetrating right into the heart of the Cooper gang's stronghold.
We're penetrating in all right, but are we going to be able to penetrate out again?
I think you've got something there, Doc.
That depends a lot on what we find on this island, I imagine.
Just remember, we ain't the first folks to be brought on this island. And we got Cooper's word for us that nobody that's ever come here's ever left it. Hey, there's rocks are sticking out of the water.
Look out. Here we go.
Hey, that's no way to treat a fellow. They'll come right up and slap me in the face.
Well, handcuffed to the rail, at least we won't be washed overboard.
Look out! Here we go again.
Well, that's all. We're inside the ring.
I say, notice how quickly the water grows calm again? We seem to be in a sort of a lagoon.
Well, I don't mind telling you, I could wring out my clothes and start a good-sized ocean of my own.
Yeah, we're all in the same fix there, Doc.
What is there about me and water? Any of it in miles, and it either gets on me or I fall in it.
Well, just the same, I prefer this to riding a horse.
I say, don't even mention horses. From the seat of my pants to the top of my shoes, I'm one long blister.
And if you think this here salt water is doing them blisters any good, man, oh man, I feel like the seat of my pants was on fire.
Listen, you two. This may be the only chance we'll get to talk together alone.
I say, you think they'll separate us?
I don't know what'll happen when we get on the island. All I know is that Richard Cooper is a very dangerous man, and I want both of you to promise me to watch your step.
Righto.
Especially you, Doc. Everything you say antagonizes him. Just don't talk so much.
Well, I'll try.
I'd advise you to, for your own safety.
But, Jack, what's it all about? Do you think Cooper's bringing us to this island has anything to do with our search for Alexander Archer?
Yes, it's all tied together some way. In fact, I wouldn't be at all surprised if Archer is on this island.
Hey, then if we can escape from here with Archer, our job's done.
Mm-hmm. That's great, Doc.
Huh? What you mean?
Here we are being brought to the island in handcuffs, and already you've not only got us free, but escaping with Archer.
Well, ain't that the idea?
You're the kind of an egg who turns back and looks at the answer before he's even read the problem.
And another thing I'm wondering about. What you suppose Frenchie and Marie think about our disappearing from Port Forest?
They probably think we've run out on them.
I say, do you think they'll be worried and call the police?
I hope that's what they'll do, but I doubt it. They don't know enough about what we're into.
Well, they was hired by the insurance company to take us to Port Forest. Won't they report back that we disappeared right after we got there?
I hope so. But Frenchie looked to me like a pretty irresponsible old codger.
Watch it. Here comes Cooper.
Oh, nice and dry, and here we are, wet as drowned rats.
Now remember what I said, Doc. Hold your tongue.
Well, gentlemen, you appear to have come through with no ill effects.
Yes. The wetting was just what we needed to whet our appetite.
Well, don't take that too seriously. Linda.
Yes?
Bring up that bottle of brandy out of the cabin. A drop of brandy will ward off the cold. 3 or 4 minutes now, and we'll have you out of this and into some dry clothes.
Oh, still the good host.
Oh, yes, I pride myself on it.
I got my own opinions.
Young man, I find your personality very distasteful.
Oh, you do?
Doc.
Well, Dad blast it, Jack.
Shut up!
Jack, I swear to my grandpa, if I don't...
Doc, if you don't stop talking so much, I'll personally wring your neck.
A most unfortunate young man. Just listening to his voice sets my nerves on edge.
Well, you'd have a very unfortunate time of it in the state of Texas, then, I'm afraid.
Is that what it is?
I say, Cooper, isn't your pilot taking a bit of a chance?
What's that?
Well, heading us straight for those rocks on the shoreline.
He knows what he's doing.
You wanted the bottle of brandy?
Oh, Linda, yes. Give each of them a drink. They find it a bit chilly.
Say, you do look like well-dunked donuts.
Their hands are occupied. You'll have to hold it for them.
Sure. Here, Doc.
Looks like pretty dense forest on the island.
Yes, it's all heavily wooded.
Mr. York?
I say, thanks.
Is that reef we crossed all around the island?
Oh, yes, we're well protected from boats. Where we crossed is the only place a boat can get through, and then only at high tide.
What do you mean, protected?
Here, watch. You're going to see something very interesting in a moment.
I asked what you meant, protected.
Oh, did I say that?
Thanks, Linda.
My pleasure.
I say, look what's happening. We're running right into the interior of the island.
I thought that would surprise you.
Well, will you look at that? A doggone river.
Oh, not much of a river, but deep enough to take this launch inland quite a distance.
Well, we're almost there now.
Doggone, will you look at us? Chugging up a river with trees as tall as churches hanging right over us.
I say, beautiful.
Like it, huh?
I certainly do. I've heard about the natural beauty of the Northwest, but Joe...
Hey, what's that?
Oh, that's Prometheus. I've got him locked up down in the cabin.
You brought him along?
Oh, yes. He knows we're almost home.
I was hoping we'd left him behind.
No, not Prometheus. He's my right-hand man, right here on the island.
Right around the next curve, it.
Is what?
The landing pier.
Is that what you mean, Linda?
Why, yes, of course.
Jack, do you smell something queer?
Yeah, I do.
I've smelled it before. Raw. Wild. I say, mountain lions?
Hey, you got mountain lions on this island, too?
A few. Linda, tell Frankie to tie up at the lower dock.
Frankie,
Ahoy there.
tie up at the lower dock.
All right, I get it.
Right around the bend, gentlemen, is our destination. And here we go around.
But this here mountain lion business...
Mr. Long?
Yeah?
Isn't it obvious that the matter is closed?
Maybe it's closed to you.
Doc, for the love of Mike, where's your good sense?
Huh? Well, all right. Have it your way. Here we are around the bend. I don't see nothing.
I say, you don't see anything? Jack, will you look at that?
Stone Castle?
A bit medieval, but we find it very comfortable. Tell Frank to cut the engines, Linda.
Cut the engines, Frankie.
Okay, all right.
A great medieval castle in this out-of-the-world island?
The story of how it got here is almost as amazing as the first sight of it. I must tell it to you sometime.
Hey, that mountain lion smells stronger than ever.
Linda, tell Frank to come here.
Frank, Mr. Cooper wants you.
You better come and take the helm, then.
All right. We're drifting in.
Doc, I warned you.
Huh? What's the matter?
What do you want, Mr. Cooper?
Put a gag in that man's mouth.
Hey, listen.
Ah, shut up. Open up your mouth.
Why, you darn ornery...
Oh, I say.
There. Yeah, that'll hold you.
All right. Now jump up on the pier and tie us up.
Yeah, 2 shakes.
Jack, did you ever see a more desolate pile of stone?
Does look more like a jail than a house. It's impressive, though.
There she is. Give me a hand, Mr. Cooper.
As soon as I'm up, bring up those 3 men.
Listen to me.
Oh, Linda.
Humor him if you want to stay alive.
Cooper?
Yes. As long as he finds you entertaining, you're safe.
What about Doc?
I'm afraid there isn't any hope for him. I'm crazy even to talk to you. Watch out.
Linda,
Yes.
release Prometheus before you come up.
All right. That's all. Be smart.
Jack, what does she mean?
Watch it. Here comes Frank. Say, will you tell that Linda woman to keep away from us?
Ah, what's the matter?
Her smart cracks about us being dead men.
Quite. What kind of a she thing is she, anyway?
What do you care, pal? You'll be just as dead no matter what she says.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, sure. Got your gun on him, Mr. Cooper?
Oh, yes. Go ahead.
All right. As soon as I unlock you from the rail, put your hands behind you. See?
Yes.
Behind you now. You're next, Texas. Behind you.
Here comes Prometheus.
Come here, Prometheus. Heel.
All right, that's all of you. Hop up on the dock.
Go ahead, Pop.
Gentlemen, we have arrived. From now on, you are my guests in the Phantom Castle. This castle sank into the ocean 2 centuries ago and no longer exists.
The adventures of Jack, Doc, and Reggie have come to you in I Love a Mystery. Created and written by Carlton E. Morse. Script copyrighted by Morse Co. Incorporated. Produced and directed by story editor Jim Harmon. Featuring Les Tremaine as Jack Packard and Tony Clay as Doc Long. Consultants Frank Brzee and David Lloyd. Your announcer, Fred Foy. This presentation has come from Hollywood.
You've You've been listening to the GSMC Classics series, part of the Golden State Media Concepts podcast network. Follow us at www.gsmcpodcast.com and find all of our timeless programming by typing GSMC Classics into any podcast app, including Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, Stitcher, and more. Remember to subscribe to the GSMC Classics series podcasts of your choice to stay up to date on new episodes. And if you could take a minute to give us a nice review, that really helps us to get this ageless programming out to others who would enjoy it just as much as you have. Check out all of our GSMC Classics series podcasts. Whether you're in the mood for comedy, romance, adventure, history, science fiction, horror, or anything in between, the GSMC Classics series has you covered. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program on the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network.